There we go. All right. Perfect, guys. Perfect. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Had a small technical challenge there, but it looks like we're through it now. So awesome. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, put in the chat if you can see my screen there. Hopefully, you can. Should be good to go now. Should be through the technical challenges there. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Excited to do this again with you guys. This is week 4. We've been at this for a little while now, which is awesome. Like, I love seeing the people who stick with this, the people who are putting in the work, the people who are really taking this opportunity to change their lives using real estate. And this is a simple, straightforward call to action and process to follow. And that's our whole goal with this thing, is to give you that playbook, help you not have to reinvent the wheel, help you get out there and make change in your life like this. So awesome. Welcome, welcome. Love to see people jumping on here. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I know I have a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and 2-year-old. The 6-year-old and 4-year-old, we actually went to the movie theater for the very first time and saw the Mario movie. So we were one of the many people who helped break that box office record. So we had a great weekend. I've been texting with Jericho. Probably not going to be jumping on today, but no worries. I usually typically whenever I'm not doing a specific challenge, whenever I just jump on and coach you guys on just the WTM Academy in general, typically that's just me. So definitely happy to go solo. Excited to do this with you guys today. Jump in the chat and say hi. Love to have people get in here and say where you're watching from. Definitely recognize some names in here. Recognize some names of people who did the homework. So that's great. Hopefully you're here for the 30-day Driving for Dollars D for D challenge right here. So I love to see familiar names in there and people who are putting in that work. And again, this is a challenge. It is challenging. It is not going to be easy for you guys. And that is what is awesome to see, is the people who are actually taking those action steps, who are running with this, who are getting out there and keeping up with the homework. It's all the more impressive because you are squeezing a lot of work in. But here's the thing, is the more that you do this, the easier it's going to get, the better you're going to get at it. It's like going to the gym. It's like eating healthy. It's like any good habit. Those first couple of weeks, it's a grind. It's tough. You got to figure out how to fit it into your life. But the more you do this, the longer you stick with this, the more discipline you have with this, the better you're going to get at this. And in the end, like, especially if you're focused on wholesaling, which most people in here are, especially if you're focused on that, it is a numbers game. It's all about the number of leads you put in the top of that funnel, how you get in touch with those leads, how you stay top of mind with those leads, and then how you make great offers, which we'll talk about today. We're going to talk about a little bit. I mean, I know WTM Academy gives you great resources beyond, we're just one tool in the tool belt, right? Like we're giving you just the playbook today on generating leads, marketing to them, following up with them, and then again making offers. They are phenomenal at everything else. Anything else real estate related. I know Jericho was kind enough to give me a link to some resources for you guys as well, some contracts to download as well. So I'll make sure to share that out with the replay of this over email too. They're going to be kind of the go-to resource for you guys for all this stuff, but excited to do this today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got people, let's see, Marcos in California, Nicholas in New Jersey, Ahmad in Michigan, Andrew in Anaheim. Fantastic. Feel free, please jump in the chat, say where you're watching from. And give me some feedback too. Like, what have you thought of this challenge? Put that in the chat too. What is this challenge? Have you taken action on this? Have you kept up with the homework? Have you changed anything, in your day-to-day from this? Do you feel excited and confident? Do you feel intimidated? That, if you feel overwhelmed, like, I want to know where you're at, where your headspace is at, and we're going to talk through all this stuff today for you guys. So, welcome again. I'm Matt Camp over here with Deal Machine. If this is your first one of these, that's great as well. We're going to send out the replay for all of these, for this one and all the prior ones, after this too. So, make sure to pay attention to your email. I'll send that out. We've been doing giveaways every single week. So what we're going to talk about today is going through reviewing the opportunity we have in front of us, the quick overview of the challenge. We're already most of the way through this thing, which is fantastic. I think we're on day 22 now, I believe. So 2/3 of the way through, over 2/3 of the way. So fantastic, guys. Great work again to see the people who did submit and to see the people who, let me put this in here, who did submit the homework. This is just a couple of them. We had a good handful come through and say, hey, yeah, I put in the work. Yeah, I'm following through with this playbook. I'm following the lead here of what we're trying to lay out for you guys. In the end, like, we are trying to give you that straightforward playbook that if you are ready to take action, if you're ready to run with it, it's going to be extremely valuable. But if you don't, if you're just going to sit back and take this in passively, not take notes, not take action, not actually plan on acting on any of this information, then hey, it's very limited in terms of the value. But if you are going to get out there and use this and run with this, we've seen it work literally 10,000 times over. We've had 10,000 people use Deal Machine to land deals, and that's where we're pulling this playbook from, is from those people. So really proud to say that Deal Machine, we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there on the App Store for investors to find off-market deals. My role over here is really partnerships. I've been involved with just WTM Academy and Kong's Group for literally years now. And, definitely have enjoyed people coming in and getting involved with this challenge and giving people a really straightforward way to run with this and hold themselves accountable too. So let's see here. Andrew says, feel nervous to call a homeowner. Found someone whose dad, I think, recently passed away. So I feel like I'm on the right track. Yeah, you're having, there you go. There's a correction. Yeah, you're having the right conversations, man. You're doing the right stuff. It is, a lot of times you can be nervous calling a homeowner. That's completely okay. That is, a normal thing to experience. That what I try to really talk through for people is really share, like, hey, it's okay to not know everything. That, when you lead with action, you're going to learn by doing, and you have this great support system. You have calls like this. You've got the Discord channel. You've got Kong and his group, Jericho, all those people to really help you get, deal with those individual situations. Even if you don't come out with a deal from that particular conversation, hey, you're on the right track. You're putting in the right reps. You're going to get better and better and better at this. You're doing the right things to get to that yes. As many no's as it takes, you get to that yes. Let's see, the challenge has been a bit of a bump. Awesome. Nicholas, I love to see that. Deal with a smaller list. Yeah, I personally like to deal with a smaller list, but actually going to try to go physically there and then follow up and call. Yeah, that's a solid marketing plan too, Nicholas. I love that approach. Again, we're getting aggressive numbers here too, in terms of the leads that we're asking you to put in here, because one, that 300 number was the magic number of what we see is the average number of leads that it takes to get to that first deal. And that's 300 rundown properties, qualified leads right here that you market to multiple times. So we're trying to get you to that, get you statistically to the right place. If you're in a more competitive area, it's going to be more leads than that. If you're in a more rural spread out area, it's going to be less leads than that. But on average across the US, that's what you're looking at. So that's why we were trying to get you to that number through these first 3 weeks, and really just kind of, it's a kick in the butt. It's you getting out there and saying like, hey, yeah, I got to try to do this every week. But hopefully that's forced you to understand, like, for everybody going through this, force everyone to understand, the work it takes. But then, hey, as you do this, you're going to build processes, you're going to build systems in place to be able to make this easier on yourself. So again, what we'll go through today, we're going to go through and talk about the opportunity that's in front of us. We're going to talk through a little bit of the framework of this challenge for people who are newer. We're going to recap the homework giveaway, an $800 plus value and prize to somebody on here. So that's going to be awesome to somebody who submitted the homework here today. And then we're going to go into the training, which for this training, I will do a 10-minute recap of the first 3 weeks, blow through that. If you want anything deeper, make sure to watch the replays. We're going to go, this will be, another time through, another rep for people where you can pick up little nuances and pro tips of how you can adjust your approach. But the goal is blow through that quickly. We'll do a, general overview and then get to the new stuff for today and wrap up with the homework, with your final homework, your final grand prize, which is worth over $2,000. So stick around to be able to learn more about that. And, we'll get started for today. So Love to see that. See Nicholas with a really small budget go walking and driving for dollars. I will use my personal cell, Google Voice. Yep. Let's see here. Definitely a learning experience. Awesome. Love to see that feedback, guys. So fantastic. Keep that coming. And, like we've talked about each week here, now is such an exciting time to be going through this. Like, and anytime that there is uncertainty, anytime that there is downturns or recessions or, slowdowns, whatever you want to call it, it's going to vary from market to market, but regardless, there's uncertainty out there. Anytime like that, we are the problem solvers. We offer certainty in the market, especially as a wholesaler. We become more valuable in a downturn. There are more people dealing with financial distress, and hey, in those situations, we can be a solution for them. We can offer speed to help them move quickly if they need to. We can offer them convenience if they need to move as is and right now if they need to. We can offer them cash. We can, maybe they don't want to work with a realtor for many different reasons. They don't want to go on market. They can't go on market. There's a ton of different things you can be solving for them. There are more people in those situations now than in the last decade plus. Now is a great time to be thinking about this, to be doing this, to be acting on this. So now is the time to step up and take action. Where people get stuck is they just don't know where or how to find a great deal. Is if they know now they need to be taking action, they just don't know how to be doing that, where to be going to do that. So that's what we've been really focused on with this challenge. Is giving you that proven playbook. It's pulled from, again, our own experience, which Deal Machine over here, our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing using technology. Again, we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. It's over 10,000 deals that have been done by our customers in every single state, all markets. So that's what we're pulling this from. It's people like Ryan Haywood right here. He went through a 30-day challenge like this. He actually did his first deal on day 17, which was last week in this challenge. 72 deals later, he had been completed 1 year using Deal Machine, and he's done 400 deals since then. He's all focused on wholesaling like this. And it's exactly what he's doing, what Cody's doing here that we're giving you in these playbooks through this entire challenge. Cody, he's doing this virtually, which I know that's obviously a big one for Kong. Talking about virtually investing. He's investing in Milwaukee while being based in San Diego. And, he's doing 3 to 4 deals a month at this volume by switching over to virtually driving for dollars. Matthew Weaver, he's doing the same thing from across the world. Was from the U.S., living in Saudi Arabia, and doing this virtually as well. And then one more, Patrick Martin. He was a newbie that just used wholesaling and used the Deal Machine app to change his life. Did 14 deals in his first 10 months and did over 150K in wholesale fees through that. And was previously sleeping in his truck trying to figure out how to change his life situation. So love to see this. This is what we get inspired by. It's people like Patrick and Cody and Ryan and all these guys of who we're pulling this playbook from for you. Over the last 30 days, we've been sharing it out, in bite-sized pieces. We've been having these live trainings every single week, every single Wednesday. Been trying to give you that playbook, help you overcome challenges, really assign homework for you every single week to be able to tackle all this stuff. So, I know I'll dig into the homework here in just a minute and the giveaways of, for the people who completed the homework, who won that giveaway. The other weekdays, we've been trying to send out pro tips. We've been trying to share a variety of different things that can help in terms of how to execute on this stuff. The replay links, the giveaway information, reminders to jump on these live trainings, all of that. So make sure to pay attention to your email, especially this week. This week is the most pivotal week of all of them, because we're giving away a grand prize. Again, it's worth over $2,000. So that's going to be really, really exciting. Make sure to pay attention to your email this week. And then, on Fridays, we've already given away, closer. I mean, we're going to end up giving away like closer to over $4,000 worth of stuff, because we're giving away, this week an $800 prize, the last 3 weeks, $800 prize. The big thing with these giveaways is that we want to reward the people who are taking action and to enable them even further. And we know, yes, this is a very powerful strategy, but it's not done for you. It's something you have to run with. It's a tool for you to use yourself. So that's what we've been really focused on with these giveaways. Is if you've completed the homework, then yes, you and you submitted it to me, you emailed it to me. I love to see that you've been, some people have been posting in the Discord. That's fantastic. talk about the stuff in there. It inspires other people. It holds them accountable too. It's motivational for each other. So make sure to get involved in the Discord too. But being able to send it to me directly is where I'm going to find it for these giveaways and be able to enter you randomly. And we picked randomly out of everybody. We had a good handful of people that finished the week 3 homework. And, again, they've been pushing themselves the past 21 days, now 22 days. And, out of those people, that's who we want to reward. And, that's where we're going to be doing that giveaway today. So to jump into that, actually, let's see here. Your homework for week 3 was to add another 100 Driving for Dollars leads. So again, we want to get that muscle down. We want to get used to doing this, every single week. We want to keep building that list to get to that magic number of 300. So you've hit that 300 lead number. Fantastic. If you have not, then you still have time. You still, the whole goal of this, and maybe you're rewatching this and, you're not even watching this live as a replay right here, then, hey, go at your own pace, but get to that number as quickly as you can. And 300, again, it's rundown properties. It's houses that you have built the list yourself. You have earned because you've gone out there and you've driven around and looked for these houses yourself. So the homework was to get to that 300 number and then to actually market to each of those property owners. So to actually reach out to each of those leads where, now you have the right number of them. Okay, cool. That was week 1 training, which we'll recap here in just a second. The week 2 training was how to reach out to them, how to actually get in touch with them most effectively and get on their radar and actually talk about doing a deal. So that was your homework for week 3, was to take action on that, to get out there and do that. Last week, we also, within the training, we really talked about making sure a lead never falls through the cracks, which again, we'll recap that quickly here too. So as you're going through, as you're having these conversations to start off with, and you're reaching out to people and you're executing on this marketing strategy, then you know what? You are set up for success to continue to follow through with those leads because you have the right systems. You know how to build the right processes in place to make sure that a lead never falls through the cracks. So that's what we covered on week 3. Now, the week 3 giveaway winner. Again, we had a good handful of people submit this. We had people coming in at the last minute here. I saw all your emails up until about 4 o'clock Central Time. So, about 15 minutes before this, if you submitted it, you are in the giveaway drawing. I randomly went through a random number randomizer. We randomly select the winner every single week. And the week 3 giveaway winner is, drumroll please, Ahmad Salah. Hopefully I pronounced your last name right. Ahmad, are you on here? It looks like you are on here. So if you can jump in the chat, give us a little woohoo or a little celebration here, man. Congratulations. Week 3 winner. This is an $800 plus prize. Again, it's an entire year deal machine. So we want to reward the people taking action. There we go. Let's go. Fantastic. Congratulations, man. We want to reward people taking action, following the right steps, that they're putting in the work. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're following through with the playbook we're giving them. And they're putting, they are putting in the work to get to that magic number of 300 leads. Like, he's in a great spot, but he should not stop now. Like, this is where you can take it to the next level, keep adding leads, keep marketing to them, follow through with what we're going to talk about today. And that's actually, coming to a great number to offer. I know in general, WTM Academy, like Jericho and all those guys, they have great advice on, talking about like, how do you come to that max allowable offer, that formula. I would definitely appreciate it. You earned it too, man. Fantastic. You put yourself in a great spot to be able to earn this. So awesome job, Ahmad. They have great great assets and materials to be able to come to that number. What we'll talk about today really is going to be focused on getting to that ARV number, because that's such an important baseline to start with, to really know, like, hey, what is that? What is this property worth after all fixed up? So we're going to be talking about comps today with that. But Ahmad, you're going to have all the tools at your disposal for an entire year. You've got a ton of marketing credits to work with to cover your skip traces, your mail, all that stuff. Get out there, take what you started here and go land that first deal and many after this. I want you to be one of the people I talk about at the beginning of this thing, people who have used the challenge to go start landing deals and change things. So congrats, man. I love to see everybody being so supportive in the chat too. Thanks, guys. All right. So got that week 3 giveaway out of the way. Now, again, I'm going to really try to limit this to 10, 15 minutes at maximum, because what we're going to go through today, like, it's reinforcing your learnings. The purpose of this is to help you pick up the pro tips, tweak your process, take notes on the replays instead of this necessarily. Like, just listen to this and be able to kind of get that mental rep in and understand, like, oh, if I pick up a pro tip that I'm not doing and that maybe I could try for this coming week, write those things down so that way you have a handful of actionable things to walk away from this with. But in general, I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you quickly because we've covered this over the last 3 weeks. And after that, we are getting into the new info today on how to really go make great offers and make extremely confident offers to sellers. So week 1 through 3 recap. Here we go. So week 1, here, let me take a drink before we get into this. Week 1 here, this was focused on building your list. So this is the lifeblood of the whole thing. It's getting in front of the most motivated sellers in your market. Driving for dollars, that is the way to do it. I mean, Kong talks about it all the time, but and you hear him talk about it, whether it be in person or virtual, which I'll cover both of those things. But that's where you're going to find the most motivated sellers out there, because they own a physically distressed asset, a rundown property. And that means they either don't want to keep up with it or can't keep up with it. And either way, that is going to show you, hey, this is a potentially very motivated seller. They're dealing with a situation that they need to get rid of this property, or dealing with a variety of different problems that you can come in and solve as a wholesaler. So it's the number one way that newbies find their first deal, is by driving for dollars. And again, that magic number we were trying to get to through this whole thing is the number 300. We've been trying to get you there, so that way we can say, hey, you have the lead list, you're putting in the work, you're filling up your pipeline properly. Because the main thing we hear when people say, oh man, I tried driving for dollars once and it didn't work. Well, how many leads did you add? Oh, I added like 50 or 100. And then, well, how often did you market to them? Oh, I reached out one time and they didn't answer. They never got back to me for my postcard or whatever. You're going to need much more marketing and many more leads than you probably think to get to that deal. So that was what the goal of this homework was, to get you to that 300 number, to get you to what we see works, and to help you blow past that. And by the time you get to that number, hopefully you've got a great process in place at this point. And if you don't, take notes on how you can use this tool if you're using Deal Machine to help you do that, and use these pro tips to make it easier to go out and build that list even faster and faster and faster each time. So when I showing it off inside the app here, awesome, cool. You see, here's the desktop version again. The mobile app looks like this, but squished down on one screen. Any lead you add here automatically appears there, and vice versa, so they instantly sync up for you. The whole goal with Deal Machine right here is to jump into the software and look at the map, and you'll see all these black dots popping up around you. Those are all properties that you can be adding to your list. A lot of people like to toggle over to the satellite view right here, so that way they can see the actual houses themselves and kind of zoom in to see what they're looking at in real life. I'll keep it on the standard view for the sake of this demo, but a lot of people like that satellite view here. But again, all the black dots around you, those are all properties that you can add as an individual lead. You click on it to get more information about that lead or about that property. The light blue dots, you'll see those are properties that have had an MLS status within the last 12 months. So, like this one was sold last April. Cool. There you go. That's Mary right here, her property. You'll see blue pins start to pop up as well, which those blue pins are leads that you have added to your list and that are considered a lead at this point. They're properties that are now in your lead list. So, simple as that. You're looking at the map. You see the black dots, the blue pins. Probably avoid the light blue dots just because they've been on market. That we're trying to go off market. Go direct to seller. If it's been an expired listing, a failed listing, maybe that could be a good lead. But for the sake of this exercise, you're going off market. You're looking for the black dots. You hit drive in the mobile app. And when you start driving around, you'll see a little green tail pop up behind you. And I don't know if if I've driven in this area before, but that is your route tracking inside Deal Machine. So what that's going to look like is you've got a little, again, it locks onto your location if you're driving in person. Like if you're using the mobile app here, it'll lock onto your location. And as you drive down the street, as I drive down Winnebago Street right here, I'll see a little green tail pop up behind me and track my route. And, the awesome thing about that is, like, one, it's going to show you where have you been, how do you make sure you never double back on a route, but then, and really just as efficiently as possible, cover an entire area. But then two, in 6 months, it's going to turn yellow. In a year, it's going to turn red. In 2 years, it's gone. So that way, and I can look visually and say, hey, yeah, let me redrive this neighborhood. And, I did a deal over here and now it's all yellow. Let me redrive that area, or it's red now. Let me redrive it. So it's a good way to kind of plan your routes and make sure you're blanketing your entire community in as efficient way as possible. tongue twister there. So you're adding leads that way. As you go through, again, you can hit add lead. You can look at more data about that owner. You can see, sale date, sale price, equity, assessed value, mortgage information, if there's a lien on the property, if, bed, bath, all kinds of stuff to be able to look at in here, assumable mortgage, that type of stuff. You've got a lot of data to work with. The most successful Deal Machine members, if you're going quickly and you just want volume of leads, you can go to this map options button, click on map mode, go to tap to add mode. And that means that whenever you click on a property, you literally tap on it and it adds it to your lead list. It's not going to pop up that property card. It's not going to show you any more info. You're just relying on the physical look of this property. And again, the physical appearance of the property, we're looking for, tarps on the roof, gutters falling off, siding in really bad condition, front yard, backyard's a mess, weeds growing through the concrete, houses just being outdated in general, like those, really old metal awnings or windows or, a window AC unit, things like that. And with all that information to be able to look at in real life, you're finding leads that are much less likely to appear in any other way. Just because it's a mess of a house doesn't mean it's going to show up on an absentee owned high equity list. Like it might not even show up on any easy to pull list. You're finding diamonds in the rough that other people are not, because you're putting in the sweat equity, you're putting in the work to go find these properties. So you're building a list that's all your own. If you want to go quickly, the tap to add mode here is probably the number one way to do that. Switch, pin to tap to add. If you are going to add them one at a time and not tap to add, I also highly recommend when you add that lead, you can tag the property. So, you say it's like, high priority because it's very distressed and it's got, high equity in it and it's got, it's absentee owned and it's this and that. Like if it fits your buy box in any way, mark that as high priority because it's going to be easier to reach out to those people in the future and know who to start with, which we'll get into here in a minute. The app will prompt you to add pictures to the property. So take a picture and that is going to automatically appear on your postcard if you send direct mail to them. So highly recommend tagging properties, adding pictures to properties, doing all that stuff. And then, if you're going through all this and if you have Deal Machine Pro, this highlights button can also be a lifesaver where you can use data to help inform you and say, yeah, show me all the vacant properties around me right now that are single family, and it'll start to light up properties that fit that particular criteria. And that way I know, hey, if I'm driving by and I see that it's a property that is a rundown house and it's highlighted for me, add that thing and mark that sucker a high priority lead. And that way you can make sure to always follow up with those high priority leads, those highest motivated leads first. So tagging, highlights, route tracking, all that stuff. Try to think about, these individual things. If you're not using any of those features and you're trying out Deal Machine, tweak your process accordingly. Only two other things before we get into marketing is one, you want to add drivers if you are on the pro level membership or up with us by clicking on your face in the top right corner, clicking on team, and then you can invite by email a driver and add them, and they can then, go add leads for you. So they can go out there and drive with you, drive for you, and be a bird dog for you if you're familiar with that term. So definitely recommend that strategy if you want to try to hit more leads, and you've got to catch up on the homework. You're going to want to do that. How much, Marcos? The pro membership is $99 a month. The starter membership is $59 a month. So we try to keep it as low price and reasonable as possible for you guys. Lastly, on this, the other option, so either you drive around, you and a friend drive around to be a driver, or if you hit the start driving button up here in this top right corner, click start driving, click anywhere on the street, and you will have the virtual driving for dollars option inside Deal Machine for you, where just like you would in real life, you want to look at houses, look and see like, hey, yeah, this looks like it could be a good lead here. It is corporate owned though, so hey, maybe move on to the next one, and essentially do clicking for dollars here, just like you would drive for dollars in real life, where you're looking at the physical condition of the property. And then if you find a lead that you want to add, just hit add lead, can look at more data around that owner, can tag that property right here, and then can move on to the next one. So, virtual driving for dollars, that is also another very, very powerful way to be using Deal Machine, to be using this technology to invest anytime, anywhere. If you've got a day job, if you, are in a place that has really bad weather right now, hopefully that's all clearing up for you guys. What have you. There's a million use cases from why virtual driving could be a good way to go, but we see people using that all the time, and it tracks you around just like you would in real life as well. So you can see, hey, I drove, almost a quarter of a mile, and here's the lead I added, and there you go. So that, in terms of building that list of leads, that's kind of the lifeblood of all this stuff. And, that's kind of step one, is if you can nail that process down, it makes a lot of the other stuff we talk about easier. So that was step one there for you guys. Let me check. I know Jericho was at he was actually at an appointment. So he's then going out there and practicing what we preach, man. So that is, I commend him for that. So week one, building a list of leads. Week two, I'll keep flying through this, marketing to those leads. So we talk through a two-pronged approach using short-term marketing and long-term marketing. Reason being is people respond differently to different types of marketing. Some people are going to respond to a call more than a text, more than a door knock, more than a piece of a postcard. Whatever you reach out to, if the more different types of touch points you can incorporate, the better chance you are giving yourself to get on their radar and to get in front of them and to actually, capture their interest. So we started there. The two-pronged marketing approach, what you want to do is have short-term marketing, meaning one-to-one marketing outreach, such as a cold call, a text, a door knock, a sticky note, door hanger, anything that takes one-to-one outreach that is direct response with you, being the person that's trying to initiate that. So short-term marketing outreach. And then if you can't get somebody to answer that way, put them on a long-term marketing outreach campaign. And that means using automation, set it and forget it, and stay top of mind over time. So how you can do that inside Deal Machine is through postcards that I'll show you here in just a second. But looking at the data, I know on average it takes, if you only send one piece of mail to somebody, say you're putting them on that mail campaign and you are setting and forgetting and automating all this stuff, you put them on a mail campaign, you send one mailer, you're still going to miss out on 85% of the deals that of people calling you back. You only have like a 15% chance of getting that call back. If you send 3 mailers, you're still not even at 50% chance. You're still at like 47% chance. And this data is through like very high volume mail senders that we see and have worked with. So, this is something that's a long-term strategy. You're going to want to plan that out, budget out for that. I'll show you how to do that here in a second as well. But the goal here is to send enough marketing and to enough leads that it will snowball over time, that you are giving yourself an at-bat every single time you send out a postcard. And that at-bat is trying to catch that seller right time, right place, where they are motivated that day or they are motivated that week and they've recently gotten your mail. They think of you first and they give you that call back. So that's the goal here. That's what we're trying to do, is have that short-term marketing outreach to get on their radar, and then have long-term marketing outreach to stay on their radar, stay top of mind, and be the one that they think of when they do have financial distress. So inside the app itself, again, say you've driven around, you've added a ton of leads to your list here. You've done it on the mobile app or the desktop version. You did it virtually, or you have drivers doing it with you, or you're just doing it yourself, what have you. All those leads go right here. And when you jump into this, you'll see, hey, yeah, let me look at a lead. I'll see these two different options. I've got skip tracing and I've got start mail. The skip trace button, all that means it's going to ping our database and it's going to come back with phone numbers, email addresses, ways to get in touch with Kimberly. It'll give you premium data too. It'll tell you like what's the caller ID, is it landline, is it mobile, is it disconnected, is it connected, what's the situation with this particular number. And then you can actually just act on that number. You can call, you can text, you can email right off of that. So you can do that in one off inside Deal Machine. You can do that in bulk by selecting all your leads on the page. You're selecting all your leads and going to lead actions and skip tracing. So you can do that in bulk like that. If you're doing the right thing and you're tagging them as high priority as you go, you can filter and then create a filter and say, hey, yeah, filter by the tag high priority and apply that. And that way I know, hey, these 91 leads, I should start here with my skip tracing. I should start here with my calls, my texts, my emails. Start with the high priority leads, and then we'll work your way out. So that was the point of why you should be tagging this as you go along. I will mention you do have one option if you're on our pro level membership as well. If you're going to door knock, if you're going to leave sticky notes or door hangers, anything in person like that is part of your short-term marketing outreach mix here. You can use the drive this list feature. So this is only really useful if you have outside lists that you're adding to Deal Machine. You're adding leads and importing that list into Deal Machine, or you're using like our list builder and pulling a list, but you didn't drive that list or anything. When you do that, you'll see that here's an example of one. Here's 197 leads I have right here. If I hit drive this list, this will show me and say, hey, yeah, these 197 leads is going to take you almost 19 hours to drive that far. But it will give you GPS directions and it'll give you turn-by-turn navigation to say, hey, if you're going to drive this list and you want to door knock every single house on this list, and you want to send mail, or you want to leave door hangers and leave sticky notes on every single one of these houses, here is the fastest way possible to save you the most amount of time possible and drive this list, go boom, 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 here, here, here. So the drive this list feature helps a ton with that. And then finally here, I know we're flying through this. Again, we did a deep dive on this in week 2. So make sure to watch that replay if you want more info here. But the final opportunity here is you've got the short-term marketing and you want to couple that with long-term marketing. So this button right here, Start Mail, when you tap on that, it's going to fire up a postcard. In an hour, it's going to send this out. I have it set so that every 21 days they're going to get a postcard. It's going to send 6 times total. And here are all the dates it's going to send. And here's what those postcards are going to look like. So you can set all of that, tweak all of that if you would like. And that's the beauty of this, is that you can automate it to just set it and forget it. Press one button and go. And that way you are staying top of mind. You are putting yourself in the best position possible to get that call back. So you go to change and you can change the template right here. We've got 9 or 10 default templates. You can design your own. Let me pause this so that Kimberly does not get my mailer. But as I'm going through this, the mail tab is where you can really get become a pro at mail. And when you click on postcards, that's where you can adjust your different templates. You can customize them. You can edit them. You can change the wording on there. They are proven. Like Ryan Haywood, the guy who's done hundreds of deals that we talked about, he uses these templates. So they are very proven. But you can change the sizing. You can do ballpoint letters, which are handwritten letters. You can order door hangers. You can do all kinds of stuff to reach out to people through this postcard functionality. The mail center, I just want to show that one thing off for you as well. The mail center, this is where we talk about tracking your mail and making sure you budget correctly. This is where you can do that. So you click the mail center, you'll see, hey, here's how many postcards I've sent, and here's how many I've scheduled, and here's my estimated spend for the month. And oh, by the way, last month, here's how much I spent on postcards, and the month prior, here's how much I spent on postcards. And it'll really show me, what's scheduled to go out, what's sent, where is it in the process? Has it been delivered? Is it in transit? Has it been printed? It'll really give you some deep dive, analysis on your mail and really make it easy to budget and track all this stuff. So use that to your advantage as well. And that's the goal, is, again, short-term marketing, reach out through the call, through text, through email, through door knocking, through door hangers, all that stuff. and then couple that with that long-term strategy. If you can't get a hold of them, put that long-term strategy out there, set it and forget it. And that combination works wonders. So that was week 2 for you guys, really talking about how to market to those sellers. Week 3, and I'll breeze through this week 2. Week 3 right here, we talked about never letting a lead slip through the cracks. And, if you can do that, if you can stay organized and follow up, you are going to be better than the vast majority of people out there doing this, and just the vast majority of salespeople in general. We talked about how, fortune is in the follow-up. Like, it's about always following through with what you say you're going to do. And the only way to really do that, consistently and at scale is by having some kind of CRM to really manage this process for you. So inside Deal Machine, we've built essentially a very lightweight CRM where you've got a couple things. You've got your lead status that you can change. You can say, hey, yeah, I've set an appointment. I sent them an offer. I need to follow up. I'm under contract with them. You can kind of track the status of your deals. You've also got those filters to work with again. So, if you want to filter by tags and know how to where to start, where are high priority leads, or you can filter by all kinds of stuff, like who added that lead. Was it one of my drivers? When do we update that lead? You've got like all kinds of stuff to work with here. So filters, definitely explore that. Bulk actions, you can select all of those properties and start mail to them or skip trace them, one off really quickly. You can import and export leads from this view really easily. But the 2 things we talked about that are the elements that really keep you top of mind and make sure that you always follow through with what you say you're going to do and you stay organized. It's taking really good notes and in an organized way, and always setting tasks for yourself, our task manager. So every single lead, when you click on that, you jump into the lead, you go to activity over here. So you got info, pull over to activity right here, and then hit add. And that's where you can add notes and add tasks for yourself. So the notes are every single conversation, personal information about, again, you're wanting to ask them the condition of the property, their motivation to sell, their time frame for selling. You might talk pricing a little bit, all of that. You want to put that into the notes right here as you go. And then, as you do that as well, again, you want to add tasks for yourself. You want to stay organized that way. So that way, if I have a conversation, they say, hey, yeah, come by tomorrow at 2 p.m. and come see the place, that I can just set that for myself. I know that, hey, whenever I wake up, I go into my task manager up here in the right-hand corner. I look to see what I need to do today. Do I need to make calls? Do I need to go on appointments? All right, cool. And then I complete that task and move on to the next one. So that simple system of using this pipeline, again, you can use the filters and leads a lot of different ways, but task management, tasks like that, and notes, those 2 things, if you can get really used to that, really nail that, you're in a very, very good place with following through with leads. So awesome. That was the recap for you guys there. That was the first 3 weeks. Today's live training, again, what we're really focused on is making confident offers. It's really coming in and helping you understand, here you go, how to overcome objections and make confident offers with a seller. And the more conversations that you have with people here today, and the more conversations you have, by getting the right number of leads out there and by marketing to them consistently and by doing all this stuff, like, you are putting the right systems in place to put yourself in a position to even be dealing with having to make an offer or having to overcome an objection. The biggest piece of advice that I can give you when it comes to the actual conversation with that seller is that it's okay to say, I don't know. And this is something we touched on this a little bit throughout this, but just giving people permission to not be limited by believing they need to know everything when they come into conversations. It's probably the number one factor we see that leads to that analysis paralysis for people and not taking action, is that there's just so much information out there that they feel like that they're unprepared at all times because they haven't read every single blog post out there. They haven't listened to every podcast. They haven't watched every YouTube University video. They haven't come to every webinar or done every challenge. But regardless, if you lead with action first, if you lead by doing, you will learn over time. Like, we really equate this to saying, hey, if you watch 1,000 hours of Steph Curry shooting threes and you get on the court and you expect to be able to shoot like Steph Curry, it doesn't work like that. Like, you got to put the reps in. You got to get out there. You got to have conversations with sellers. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't know. Let me get back to you in 24 hours. Or I don't know. Let me talk to my partner and get back to you. And have a little deflection there where you are going to consistently get better. And you can come to stuff like this. You can come to your WTM Academy, Discord channel and coaches and all that stuff and ask them, hey, how would you deal with this? How would you deal with that? How would you deal with this? And really work through each of these potential roadblocks that a seller may put up there. And most of these things, you're not even going to know what you don't know yet. Like, you're not even going to know what to ask and what to learn about until you put yourself in that position. So in terms of overcoming objections, that's the number one thing we see people need to have a little bit of encouragement around. I know David, our CEO and founder, we talked about in week 1, if you remember, his story of getting out there and building his own portfolio and building his own financial freedom using real estate. He would have started years ago if he could overcome this limiting belief any earlier, but he finally did. And thank goodness he did. When he went through that, he and really throughout his entire experience building Deal Machine, the number one regret he had, and that we hear most, is people saying, hey man, I wish I did this 10 years earlier or 5 years earlier, or even a year earlier. Like, I wish I would have just went for it earlier and learned by doing. So that's the one thing I want to encourage you guys, is you have this on-demand knowledge to fall back on and to ask questions to. Lead with this action and be able to go forward and I again, in terms of actually having that number conversation of putting in a great offer, I'll show off the comps feature inside Deal Machine. That's a great place to start to get to that ARV number. A lot of times there's a lot of different potential formulas you can work with, really the MAO formula we talk about often on our end, but rely on Jericho, rely on the WTM Academy folks to really help you coach through in terms of, analyzing that property and making an offer. But I can at least get you to the ARV number, the after repair value number, using comps. And that's a really, really strong place to start, because you have data to back you up and help you have that kind of initially scary conversation with a seller around, what you're going to offer them. So, or what is wholesalable. So I'll show that off here in just a minute. I do know that when we go through this as well, I'll make sure that Jericho gets me, I have to find the link, but I'll make sure Jericho gets me the link for the contracts that they're giving you guys. Again, it's free, free agreements to be able to just, once you actually submit an offer, like, use this to do that, right? Use these contracts to help you guide that and help you actually make that offer. And you'll see in the homework here why we want you to do that too. So, all right. So to show the comps feature off inside Deal Machine here, you go to that lead. And again, we talk through info. That's when you add a lead. You see all the info right there. Here, let me go to a non-corporate owned. Let's see here. We got a lot of corporate owns here. Let's see. Cool. Absentee. All right. So you'll want to go to a property that, here, let me see if I can get some good data for you guys to work with. It's a good example. Here we go. Absentee owned. Perfect. So you want to go to a property, look at their info, and you got all this data right here to work with. You've got, the mail tab. So that's like, hey, here's the mailer that's going to go to them if I hit send mail. Investment is just some tracking on numbers if you're, when you're closing the deal. Activity is where you have the tasks and notes, right? And then the comps. So this comps button right here, this is exactly what it's going to look like in the mobile app as well. So make sure, if you're on the go, if you're having a conversation on the spot with a seller, this is clutch. This is so huge to be able to easily pull this up and guide your conversation with data to make you very, very confident in what you're offering them and you can walk them through the logic of all this stuff. So, when you jump into here, you'll see you've got a comps tool that you can adjust the filters on. So the top left corner is filter comps. And you can change, hey, do you want to see MLS comps or county record comps? How recent do you want the sale? So I've got, a couple months right here, which by default is usually a couple months, but you can actually change that and say, hey, 3 months from today is what I've got going. But you can go in there and change that to, to adjust that to your liking, especially if you're in a market that's moving quickly in one direction or the other. Square footage, we highly recommend plus or minus 15%. So I have that set in here for square footage range. You'll see this property that I've got tagged is 1514 right there. Year built, you want to keep plus or minus 15 years to really stay in the general vicinity of the architecture of that time. This is a really old part of the St. Louis right here. Bed, bath, and then range. You want to keep range ideally is within half a mile, but I'll keep it to a mile for this. That's the sake of this. And when you've got each of those filters all laid out for you right there, you can then get really specific by using the draw tool. So you've got this little draw button right here. And let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. This draw button. So that way, if I want to see just a marine villa, just those comps, I can click on here, click and outline this particular shape for you. Hold on a second here. Let me draw one more time for you guys. If I want to, here we go, draw around this particular neighborhood, you can see these little dots that have popped up here that are the comps that already fit this particular property. Awesome. When I do that, you can see in real time, okay, I've got 3 properties. If one's a bit of an outlier, which looks like this is, you can click on that and it'll automatically just dynamically change the value for you right there. So you'll see what is the average dollar per square foot? What does that come out to in terms of estimated value based on your square footage? And the really cool thing is if you can look at some of the MLS listings, let's see if this one has it. A lot of them, here you go, a lot of them will have photos as well. So not only can I use this as a way to show them here's what your after repair value looks like, you can also show the condition of the property that was sold at this comp. So I can show you and say, hey, yeah, here's the condition of this property, and your house is going to take $50K, $100K to get to that level, and this one sold for $115. So it's showing you how you can really work that math out in front of them. Of hey, here's all of the statistics around the property to get a really accurate comp, and then let's look at the layout and let's look at the aesthetics and let's look at the condition of the property and get a comp that way as well. So all of that on the spot is right inside Deal Machine. It's for every single account, that's starter, pro, whatever level you're on. That's all included right there. But that's the goal with today, is be able to be confident overcoming in dealing with objections head on, being okay saying I don't know, and then using this after repair value to really guide your decision making in terms of coming up with that number of what a property is worth, and really be confident as a newbie in what can be a scary conversation versus an intimidating conversation. So wanted to leave you guys with that. I know we've got about 5 minutes here. Your final homework assignment. You've already built your list of 300 leads if you did the homework. We're going to keep you there. We give you a little bit of a breather right there. If you have not done it yet, now you know how. Now you know, hey, you can click for dollars by virtually driving. You can tap to add mode to go quickly in an area. You can add a driver to your account and team up with somebody and build a really strong list that way. If you're going to use Deal Machine, you've got a lot of options. The next step is to market to all of those leads. So again, we're trying to get you that magic number, the 300 plus multiple marketing touch points. Lead with short-term marketing and then follow it up with long-term marketing with that nurture campaign, and do that creative marketing mix, do that combo. You are giving yourself statistically a very, very solid game plan to get a conversation going. And then finally, making your first offer. So you've got the ARV here. Again, work with WTM in terms of any kind of like max allowable offer formula. The contracts we're going to send out to you via email as well. Feel free to reach out to Jericho. We can help you guys out with all that stuff too. We want them to be as great of a resource as they are, for you guys. So lean on them if at all possible, whenever you're thinking about this stuff. So, or have questions about any of this stuff. So the final homework assignment is going to be getting that 300 number list. If you have not yet, execute on marketing and then get to that first offer by having conversations like this. You guys got this. I believe in you here. So I know, again, the grand prize giveaway, this is big. So it's going to be worth over $2,000. And what's really important here for you guys is that you have to be on the next live to win. You have 2 things you have to do. One, you have to reply to one of my emails. So I'm sending out an email this week before next Wednesday on how to enter for the grand prize. So make sure to pay attention to that. And then 2 is you must be on the next live. It's the final live we're going to be doing next Wednesday to really wrap this whole thing up and celebrate our wins and get you kicked off and tell you where to go from here. So make sure to pay attention to your email. Make sure to be doing that. If you haven't gotten emails from me, much yet, just Matt@DealMachine is my email. So matt@dealmachine.com. If I can get this for you guys, that's in the chat there. Make sure to reach out to me there if you're not getting my emails, and I'll help hook you up there. But that's the goal of this grand prize, is make sure to pay attention to your email. Make sure to show up next week, and let's get that homework done, guys. So if you're going to use Deal Machine to help you with the homework, again, it's dealmachine.com/WTM for the 7-day free trial, and then a bunch of free marketing credits to do the skip traces and mailers that we talked about today. Otherwise, it's dealmachine.com/D4D challenge. So let me put up that offer for you guys. That one is great for being able to do all the stuff we just showed you in terms of, having up to 3 users on the account to drive with you, all the map features, mail center, CRM, comps, virtual driving, regular driving, all that stuff. You get list builder with it too, which is awesome to supplement your driving for dollars leads, pull lists, in addition to building a list. And then all the free marketing too. So normally if you would go through our website, it's gonna be over $1,800 just, through this. It's one-time payment for the entire 12 months, 45% off. It's like $990. So if you're going to be doing this, you're full into this for more than a couple months. You're like, yes, I am going to land deals. I'm going to use technology to save me time. I'm going to invest in this, and it's going to pay off, tenfold, because it's going to save me a ton of time and a ton of marketing budget. Then go with this link versus anything through our site. It's going to be a much, much better deal. So want to share that with you guys. I will keep this up on the QR codes for a second here. Happy deal finding, and let's go get that homework done. So I'll keep this up on the QR codes. Anybody have any questions in the chat? It looks like we don't right now, but congratulations again to Ahmad. I will be looping you in with our team directly as well, right after this too. So that way you can get all hooked up with all the free stuff that you won. And make sure to pay attention to your email. Let's win that $2,000 giveaway for the next one. So let's see, when is the offer end? So we don't have a hard deadline on this currently. I can't guarantee that it's going to be here for a crazy long time, but it's at least here during this challenge. If you're watching the replay after the fact and it's no longer available, please reach out to me, matt@dealmachine.com, and I'll see what we have available that I can help you out with. But I want to keep it available to the WTM folks as long as I can. So wish I had like a hard deadline specific for you, but man, I would say if you're going through this challenge and you're like, yes, if you get the value and you're going to do this for more than a couple months, then this is going to be the best deal to do that with. So see, how would we be able to comp land in the area if a property is too far going to be sold as a house? Yeah, you can actually go in. We do see people using land comps as well. There isn't really a great you have to probably do that by hand, to be honest. So you'd have to go in an area that has comps to begin with, that land has a similar transaction right there in terms of value, and then you'll have to deselect the ones that aren't land in there. Yeah, you know what, Ahmad, reach out to me direct, and I'll try to work with you on that one, because it's definitely built more for physical properties. And there's probably a few different things you could tweak to kind of make that a little bit more effective for what you're looking for. Commercial properties, yeah, you can use this for commercial properties too. I mean, we do have, just to show you inside the app really quick here, if you go to Drive and then Highlights, we've got, let me clear this. We've got a ton of data here. So like you can create a highlight and do property type. And especially if you do weird and unusual property types, we have literally like thousands of different categories here. So if you're looking at, commercial, let's see here, we've got Mixed use, general, auto transportation, condos, vacant land for commercial use, all kinds of stuff here. So yeah, there's a lot you can work with, and use that to kind of highlight those types of properties around you too. That would be if you're going to do like things that aren't single family homes, I recommend the pro level plan, Mark, just because that will give you like all the highlight abilities and all that data to tap into. So all right, good stuff. I'll give you guys one more minute here and we can get out just about on time. Look at that. I will say I have really enjoyed doing this challenge with y'all. Seeing how many people followed through on the homework last time is fantastic. So, it's only as valuable as people are taking action on. So love to see that. And, you only have one more left. So if you're one of the few people that can knock it out this week, then, hey, you're putting yourself in a really good spot to win some prizes and stuff. So, Nicholas, no problem. Mark, no problem. Ahmad, no problem. PD, awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. Again, happy deal finding. Get out there. Let's go land some deals. And, you've only got 1 week left. You've got this. Let me know what I can help with. Let Jericho know what we can help with. And, you've got everything you need. So, the $40, that's skip trace and postcards. So it would be like if you use it all on postcards, it would be that number that I quoted. If you use it all on skip trace, it'd be on that other number. So hopefully that clarifies it for you, Mark. But all right, guys. Brittany, fantastic. Won the first week. Putting it in for the final week. Fantastic. Keep it up. That is awesome. Love seeing that. So that's what's inspiring me is, you guys running with this. So, all right. Thanks everybody. See the chat. Appreciate you guys. And we will talk again next week for the grand prize giveaway. So good luck in the meantime. Thanks.